The sale begins and ends with belief. You start by believing you can make the first one. You finish by believing you can make the next one. My name's Jeff Bajorek, and my career in sales has been a hell of a ride. And I want to bring you along with me. If you prefer to sell things at a premium, if you never want to win a deal on price, rethink the way you sell. My name's Jeff Bajorek. I'm your host, and I'm here to help you rethink the way you sell. Season 3 is all about rethinking your prospecting. And I've started this season by talking about the 8 biggest reasons you and your team are not creating enough new opportunities. I started by talking about the right expectations. I then talked about the right tools, the right plan, the right boundaries, the right models. Does your team have what they need in order to do their job well? That's what those first 5 really cover. The 6th was about incentives, whether or not they want to do the right work. The 7th was about accountability, and if you listen to the very last episode, that was Mike Weinberg and I talking about the value of regular accountability meetings and a culture of accountability within your organization. It is the one guaranteed way to improve the results that your team is putting up there, contributing to, creating. But today, I'm going to talk about belief. And I hate to break it to you, but you can have all 7 of those other aspects, of those other issues solved for. You can have those boxes checked. But if you don't have belief, baby, you got nothing. You have to believe at your core that what you do is worth doing, that you are capable of succeeding, that the success is worth pursuing because it's not going to come easily, and that the results or the outcomes are going to be worth it for everybody involved. If you let some doubt creep in, well, that becomes problematic. That doubt creates resistance in your process. That doubt makes you think twice before you pick up the phone, before you send that email. It's going to make you reread that proposal too many times. It's going to slow everything down. We know that time kills all deals. Well, because time it kind of deflates that balloon of emotion. If you think about the emotion, the tension that we work really hard to create in the sales process, if we think about that being contained in this balloon, doubt starts to poke holes in that balloon, starts to let the air out a little bit. Okay, maybe it's not a balloon that explodes as soon as you pop it, but maybe like a hot air balloon, right? Think about something that is not able to contain all that emotion. And that balloon starts to fall down after a while. And over time, a balloon naturally deflates. But your belief is going to poke holes in that membrane. It's going to allow those emotions to leave. And you can't afford to let that happen. You can't afford to be the reason that you're not succeeding. You got to believe, baby. You've got to believe that you are capable of stewarding your prospect through their decision-making process to become a better version of themselves. Whether that's an individual that you're helping with some specific results, or if that's a company that you're helping with more far-reaching, broader, consequential results. But you've got to have some self-worth, you've got to have some self-belief, and you've got to know that you are the right person to help at the right time with a unique solution. If you don't have that, you're going to have issues. It doesn't matter how enabled you are. It doesn't matter how good your leader is. It doesn't matter how great the company you work for is. If you're just not in it, you're going to struggle. There's no reason for that, because being in it is really a choice. If you find that you're just not in it, maybe you're not in the right place, but I don't know that that's the case. Look, you know how to prospect. I know you know how to prospect, but something still gets in your way. As a matter of fact, I've identified 8 reasons that you and your team are not creating more sales opportunities. I put them together as a white paper to serve as a companion of this season of the Rethink the Way You Sell podcast. Go to jeffbajorek.com/8 reasons to download your copy and the self-assessment that is included in that white paper, so you know where you can make maximal impact right away to improve your prospecting results. Now back to the show. So I've got a couple of exercises for you. And one, I'm going to recap here very, very quickly because it's something I actually went through in season 1. It is the subject of season 1. It's an exercise I do with all of my clients. It's called What is Your Why? And this is the way we get things kick-started because it stimulates, it rekindles that belief. So I've got 5 questions I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to answer them. First one, why do you work for the company you work for? What's so great about it? Why do you believe in your company? Second question, why do you believe in the products or the services or the solutions that you sell? Third question is, why do you believe in yourself? The fourth question, this is an important one. Why do you believe that your customer is better off for doing business with you? The last one, kind of a trick question, but it's a cheat sheet to the rest of them. Why do your best customers buy from you? And why do they continue to buy from you? The reason that's a trick question is because you don't know unless you've asked. So go ask them. When you ask them, they're going to give you the keys to unlock the rest of the questions. They're going to help you to see all the reasons. And sometimes, again, you need the right models, right? I talked about that a couple of episodes ago. Sometimes you need the right guidelines to think about why your company's so great or why the solution you offer is so impactful. Sometimes you just need to be shown why what you do is worth believing in. And I'll go back to the third question there. Why do you believe in yourself? That's a big one. It's often the most difficult one for people to answer. I'll spend some time with that. And don't just give me the answer of, oh, well, other people believe in me, so I believe in myself now. No, dig a little deeper. Why do they believe in you? Ask them for specifics if you need to. And then make sure you dig deep and look and see if you can agree with them. Take their word for it at least, but then try to synthesize your real feelings with what other people are telling you. Hey, maybe this is a bunch of hooey-gooey stuff. Maybe, hey, Jeff, I didn't tune into a sales podcast to get life coaching advice and, all Stuart Smalley, doggone it, people like me. If you're younger than 30 years old, you may want to look that up. But you have to have this. It's so vital that it really doesn't make sense to do anything else unless you can get this part nailed down. So I'm going to suggest that you go back to season 1, 7 episodes. The first sets the whole exercise up. The next 5 episodes go into these questions in a little more detail. And the very last one shares a story with you of how I myself was holding back my own best efforts, my own best results, my own livelihood in a lot of ways. So I want to share that with you. The entire series is less than an hour. That entire season is less than an hour. These episodes are short. If you've been listening to this show for any length of time, you know I like to keep them brief. I like to keep them provocative, and I want to make you think. So do that exercise. I've got another quick exercise here that will help rekindle that belief when it tends to fade from time to time. Like any other fire, like the fire you want in your belly, it needs to be stoked. So here's an exercise that I recommend to you. In the mirror in the morning, take a look at yourself and repeat after me. I'm the best in the world at what I do. And the really scary part is I'm only half as good as I'm ever going to be. This is an exercise that I wrote about first in the 5 Forgotten Fundamentals of Prospecting, and it's about keeping your swagger, right? But we're talking about rekindling or kindling that fire in your belly. First of all, you have to believe it. But once you believe it, say it 10 times in a row. You start to smile. Say it 20 times in a row. Start to feel pretty good. Say it 100 times in a row. You'll be ready to run through a brick wall for what you do. Think about that kind of energy, that kind of swagger that you could bring to your prospecting efforts. If you had that kind of intensity, that ferocity, what would that do to your results? Belief. I can tell you're smiling right now if you're paying any attention to this, because you understand now what kind of impact you can make on yourself if you put yourself in the right frame of mind. And if you're not in the right frame of mind, you're inhibiting your best work. Period. Mic drop. Get there. Get to the good place. I'm really excited to share my next episode with you. I'm talking to Jeffrey Gitomer about belief. And I learned that series of questions, that what is your why exercise, that is borrowed and modeled and modified from an exercise that I learned from Jeffrey when I first started this portion of my career. I'm grateful to him for his friendship, his guidance, his leadership, and really looking forward to sharing this conversation with you because it's all Gittimer. When I say that I think we've all struggled with belief at one time or another in our careers, I think that's true, except maybe for Jeffrey. So really looking forward to sharing that conversation with you. It's coming up in just a couple of days. If you are not subscribed, why not hit the subscribe button, share this with somebody that you think will gain from it as well. I'm looking forward to talking to you again very, very soon.
Rethink the Way You Sell is a Pod About It production. It's mixed and edited by Doug Branson, with music by Blue Dot Sessions and Doug Branson. This podcast is masterminded by Jeff Bajorek.